What up, world? Welcome to another episode of RMT. That's Real Man Talk. It's your boy, Stan the Man, coming to you with another great conversation piece today. And before I even get started, I just want to give a couple of shout outs. I want to give a shout out to I want to give a shout out to everybody that's tuned in, that's listening. Appreciate y'all checking in. Appreciate y'all listening to us, and appreciate y'all support and love on all our social media platforms. We really appreciate that. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this conversation piece today. So today, I just got a little video that I want to pull up, and I'm gonna give my little commentary behind it. But we're gonna watch this video first, then I'll talk about it. So let's go ahead and get into this video. All right.
How old are your parents?
76, 74.
How often do you see them?
Like twice a year.
Let's say your parents live till 80. If they have 5 more years, okay? Let's just say roughly. You would say I have 5 more years of my parents, but I would say no. You have 10 more times with your parents if you see them twice a year. When you start thinking of things like that, your first reaction is, I want to go see my parents. So you change the way you approach it. I'm like, I'm going to go see my parents every other month. I'm going to make it a priority.
I want to talk about just appreciating your parents. With me, looking at this video, I remember I had a conversation with my homeboy Keith one day. It's probably about 7 or 8 years ago. And so about 7 or 8 years ago, I called him. We was talking on the phone, and I was like, for the longest, it's like my parents never age. It's like they never aged. They never got older. Like physically, they were still in good shape, still getting around. They looked good. They was mentally sharp and everything. So to me, it didn't seem like they was getting older. And so one day I went down and I was visiting my pops. I was visiting my stepmom, and I was visiting them. And when I looked at them, and I really took a look at them, it looks to me that they was getting older. After all these years, me being around them, me seeing them, me talking to them, it never dawned on me that they was getting older because it didn't look like it. But now it started to look like they was getting older. So I was talking to them. I was like, man, I went down there. I saw my folks, and it looked like they was getting older, And then something just clicked inside of me. Something was like, you know what? I got to start seeing my folks more. I got to go down there and start seeing my people. I got to go start seeing my parents more, going down there, spending more time with them, let my kids spend more time with them. And me, at first, just like everybody else, I go down there and see them. I talk on the phone. I call them. It's okay. But it's a whole nother thing when they can physically see you. They can physically give you a hug. They sit there and have that one-on-one conversation with you. That's totally different than a phone call. A phone call is cool, or FaceTime is cool, but we all know that physical contact is a little bit different than actually over the phone, over the computer. It's a whole different it's a different interaction than it would be over the phone. And so what I started to do was that, I was just like any other younger person. Like, I'm like, man, here they go calling. Let me see what they want to fuss about. When a lot of times they just want to talk to me to see how I was doing, how things was going. They just wanted to keep that relationship that they once had. They want to keep their relationship going, like when I was at the house. But me, I was out trying to figure out things myself, and also just trying to enjoy myself. I wanted to go out. I want to kick it. I wanted to have fun. And me talking to my parents, it didn't seem like it was just fun. I'm like, oh, here they go calling again. Here they go, asking me this and asking me that. And so many times that we think that we have all those years left with them. We think that we got and the reality is that we don't. Sometimes we think, oh, well, I got the next so and so years. I got the next 10 years with my parents. I got the next 15 years. And sometimes that don't be the case. We can wish that we have that time with them. We can hope and we can pray that we have the next 10 years. Sometimes that don't be the case. Sometimes some of us are blessed enough to have our parents in our life for 10, 20. You get to see them get 80, 90 years old, which is a blessing. But on some people in that's on the unfortunate part, like me, you might not get a chance to see your parents get to that age. You might not get a chance to have those conversations with them later on in life as your kids get older, from adolescents, the teenagers, to a place where they starting to get grown too. So certain information, certain information that they have, that you won't have access to it anymore because they might not be here. And so I mean, sometimes when I start to take trips with my family, or I go closer to where my parents stayed at, I find myself going over there more. I find myself spending time with them more, taking my children over there more, letting them build their relationship with my parents. And as I continue to do that, at first I was like, instead of I remember I used to go down there like him, maybe twice, go down there on holidays, the major holidays, go down there and visit them. And I was like, okay, now let me pick it up a little bit. Let me pick it up, because at first I was like, oh, it's okay. I just do this a couple of times and that'll be it. But one thing that I had to remember, that my parents are the reason that I am who I am. Part of my personality, part of the things that I believe in, part of the way that I carry myself, part of my character is a part of them. So me being around them and them doing what they need to do. And a lot of times I forgot about the sacrifices that my parents made for me. I forget about the time that they put into me, the financial um investment that they put into me. A lot of times I forgot about that. Like, how could I forget about the times, the sacrifices that they made? From missing work, coming out there, maybe spending a little bit more money that they ain't need to spend to get me some shoes or some clothes or something that I wanted, and they didn't have to. And we'll overlook that. We'll overlook like having good parents. And I think when you have a good parent, a lot of times you might realize it, but as you get older, you'll realize it more, especially when you have your own children. You can learn to appreciate your parents more as you get older and you have your own children. Because I say this, when you have something good and it's always around you, you might not appreciate it because you always experiencing that. And you take somebody that didn't grow up with their parents, somebody that didn't have a good parent in the household, didn't have a good mother, didn't have a good father, didn't have a good father figure there, didn't have a good mother figure there, and they're going through life and they have certain questions that should be the basics, but they don't know it. You do, and you just think it's a regular thing. It's not a regular thing. Some people just didn't get taught. Some people just didn't get shown those things, the essential things in life. Some things that we might think, oh, that's just a regular thing. You should know. You should know that just off the top, because it was just taught in my house. Some people weren't taught that because they didn't have the privilege of having great parents. They have the privilege of having their parent around. And I think we take for granted our parents. Sometimes we take for granted them lessons or those phone calls. We take that for granted because we think it's going to always be there. We got another 10, we got another 15 years, and we actually don't. And one thing that kind of helped me was that, more time I spent with them, the more time my children spent with them, the the I felt bad because I wasn't coming around this much. I felt bad because I was like, dang, I forgot how brilliant my parents was. Dang, I forgot how good they was, or different things we did together. I forgot about all that. But then when I started coming around more. I started feeling bad because all this stuff that they did for me, and I ain't did nothing. I ain't did nothing for them. And so now then I started doing more stuff for them, you know, not just financially, but if they need some stuff did around the house, man, I come down there, spend some extra days down there to help them around the house, help them do stuff around the house. Cause I know my pops, soon as I get to the house, he speak to his grandchildren first. Them the apple of his eye. He'll speak to them first, hug, give them a kiss. Hey, grandkids, I love y'all. Then he speak to my wife, and then he be like, hey, son,
Son, I need you to do this
I
for
need
me
you to go
now.
do this for me, or run to do this for me, go do this. Now, when I was older, when I was only visiting him twice a year or 3 or 4 times a year, yeah, they used to get on my nerve. But then when, within that time frame, when I told you that I talked to my homeboy Key within these last 8 years, I was happy to do whatever. When I came in, I was happy. I wanted him to have something for me to do when I got there. I call him before, be like, Daddy, I'm coming down. I call my stepmom, be like, Wanda, I'm coming down there. Anything y'all need me to do, anything y'all want me to grab before I come down there and bring it to y'all. And they'll be like, well, I might need this, I might need this, I might need that. When I used to avoid it, now I enjoyed doing it for them, because me starting to go back around them, it made me remember all the good times, all the things they did for me, all the sacrificing they did for me. And so I was just so much appreciative when I started to come around more. I started to have those memories, show my kids the photo albums of my dad, and want to tell my children about the times that I did wrong, I did right. But, it was just funny moments that all of us shared together, that my children will have with them forever. I have with me forever to live on. And they had the memories too. Before they passed away, they had those memories too, of us being together as a family and enjoying each other. And not only enjoy the grandkids as well, you see? And so I'll just say this is that, you know, we think that, well, I'm gonna get this recipe later on from them. Well, I'm gonna take them later on, and sometimes as our parents get older, they might get on your nerve. You be like, oh man, I want to take them to the store. They calling again. I want to take them to the store. I just took them to the store yesterday. I want to take them to the doctor. It's not my turn. One of my siblings can do it. I don't feel like doing this for them. It can get tiring, and people will get upset even while taking care. I haven't never done this, but I heard just taking care of your parent, it can take a toll on you. It can take a toll on the person that's taking care of more than the person that need the care, especially if your sibling's not helping out, or they not paying any bills or doing anything that you think that they should be doing to help out. And so we all been in a place where we probably didn't appreciate our folks. We probably didn't appreciate our parents, the things that they done, the way that they raised us. And sometimes the way that my pops raised me, I thought it was hard. I thought it was a little bit extreme. I don't think he was doing too much. I'm like, man, come on, it don't take all that. But in order to build a man to be able to prosper out here in this world, he had to do those things. I didn't understand it. No, I didn't understand it, but I appreciate it now. I appreciate everything that he did for me back then. I appreciate the tough times, him being tough on me, him making me be disciplined, him making me be focused and not waste my money, learn how to budget my money, learn how to stand up, learn how to not lie. All those key essential rules that he gave me, you know, and I really appreciate it a lot now. And so don't let it get to a point where, you know, hey, well, my mama was this, my parents was that. I understand if your parents wasn't there. I understand, like, if your parents didn't do for you and they wasn't in your life the way they need to be in your life. And I can't tell you what to do in that situation. I haven't been in that situation, so I can't say, oh well, you should do this, you should forgive them, you should this, you should that. I can't say, but I will say this: if your parents did do you like that and you have children now, try to be that parent to your children that you wanted your parent to be. Try to be that parent to your child that you wanted your parent to be. And that's what I try to do with my children. That's what I try to do with my children. Try to be the parent that my dad was to me. I try to be that parent to my children and try to pass it on that they can raise their children the way that I was raised, take some of the stuff that I did and they pass it on and raise their children and so on and so forth. And so I just say on today, appreciate your parents. Appreciate your parents. Appreciate the sacrifices they made, the things they did. You know, appreciate those things because all of us then wasn't blessed with good parents, but the ones that was blessed with good parents, appreciate them. They ask you to do something, go around there and do them because they're not going to always be around. Believe me, I wish I could have my parents back. They not coming back. But the time that I did have, those 7 to 8 years where I just really sit down and was around them, I did. I spent time with them. I hung out with them. Even sometimes I went down there by myself, just me and my pops, just spend the day with my pops, just hung out with them, talking. We might go out to eat. We might do different things together. But I spent that time with them. And I'm glad that I did because now I don't have no regrets now that they're gone. I don't have any regrets because I knew at that time I really turned it around what I need to be as far as a child to my parents. I really changed that around. But if I had been younger and doing the things that I was doing, I probably would have regretted everything. I probably would have regretted till this day that I didn't spend more time. I ain't take my kids around. I didn't do the things. I didn't do that for them. I ain't do this for them. I had a chance to. I might have had the money to. Man, I had the help, the automobile, the wheel. I had a way to do it, but I just didn't go do it. I just didn't spend the time. I don't want to do that. I got my own life. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. But I'm so glad that I did. So glad that I did. So on that note, you know, take out the time, hang with your parents. They might get on your nerve, but go out there and do that stuff for them and look out for them. They set in their ways and they do what they do. But hey, we love them anyway, right? We love them anyway, and we'll do anything for them. And so on that note, I just appreciate y'all tuning in to another conversation of Real Men Talk podcast. You can catch us on social media platforms. On our platforms, there's YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Facebook, and Instagram. Just look up Real Men Talk Podcast and click like, subscribe, drop a comment, shoot me a DM if it's something that you want me to talk about, as a video you want me to review and give my input on it. Just holler at me and let me know. I got you. And on that note, I'll see y'all next week. All right.